What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cover Band Central podcast, number 196 for Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. I'm Steve Witchell in New Orleans.
I'm Tony B, coming to you from New Jersey. What's happening, Steve?
I just realized that I forgot to hit record locally for the audio podcast. I forgot to set that setting up, and I realized it just as I hit go live, and then I just realized, oh my God, I forgot to do that. So that's why it took me a minute to play the theme, and I'm going through the settings to see if I can set it, and then I couldn't. So we're gonna have to hope that this is mixed well for the audio podcast, because this is what they're gonna get. So we'll see what happens.
Unless we stop and restart again.
No, once I hit live, I was like, that's it, we're in.
All right, we're live.
I can't change anything.
It is what it is.
Welcome everybody that's watching us live here on Facebook. We're broadcasting live in the Cover Band Central Facebook group, on the Cover Band Central Facebook page, and YouTube, the Cover Band Central channel. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link is in the description. And like I said, the audio podcast, we are on Pantheon now, and it's through Megaphone. That's where you listen to all of them. There's a link in the description. Check out all of our previous podcasts there. All 195 previous ones are there. If you like the show, it's some good listening. And subscribe to YouTube. I said that already. And yeah, and if you have questions or comments, come on and tell us where you're from. Come on in and say hello. Tell us where you're from. We will say hello back. We always like to know where in the world we're reaching. Margaret said, wow, I've never been here live. She's very excited.
Wow, so is her cat.
So is her cat. And she is in Newfoundland, Canada. Trisha says, hey there, is here. Everybody's coming in. Kendra says, hi, Tony and Steve. It's interesting. She said your name first.
Of course, as it should be. Oh, yeah, Steve.
Let's put, I should always put our names up in the beginning of the show, too, so people know who we are. Right, exactly. Mike's in Corpus Christi, Texas. I like Corpus Christi. I've been there a couple times. Wow, how would you say it? Bournemouth?
Yeah,
Bournemouth?
Bournemouth.
UK.
Or Bournemouth.
Niall? Interesting name. Helena just said that's amazing. I don't know what's amazing, but cool. Kendra's in Indiana. And we got Catherine here in Ventura.
Nice.
Very nice. So, speaking of the previous podcast, Tony, they're all in Megaphone. They're all on the Pantheon network. You go check out that. Please do. There's plenty. If you like podcasts, there's a ton of great music-related podcasts in there, and we're in there too, and we're proud to be part of it. And go check that out. But so, Tony, I went in there last week after we did our regular one.
Yeah.
And I listened back to the whole podcast because I had to edit it. And then I edited it and I listened to the whole thing. And it sounded good. So I'm happy with the progress we're making with the sound.
Excellent, Steve. And kudos to you for taking on that responsibility to do that, because I know it takes you an hour at least after the podcast.
Yes.
To go through it all again. So
I'm
just
doing
for the
everything.
listeners out there, the hour live podcast is really a 3-hour event to get it to come to you.
Something like that,
in
yeah.
its pristine condition, such as you are viewing now.
And I just realized just now, too, I forgot to hang up my other blanket to my right for the sound, the room sound. So
it's going to be nice and cold, man.
I'm going to have to do a lot of editing, is what I'm saying. But so I went back and I listened to the very first one that we did.
Episode 1?
Episode 1. I listened back to the entire episode. I listened to it. In my headphones, I put it on. And it was, gosh, I should know the date off the top of my... I don't know it off the top of my head. But it was 2017, maybe.
Yeah,
2018.
probably in that vicinity.
And I was surprised at how much I didn't cringe, how much I actually liked it. I think the sound quality wasn't as good as it is now.
Dude, we don't put out inferior product. I mean, even at our worst time, it's still great.
And this was just doing the audio podcast. We weren't doing the video live streaming or anything. We just hooked up like on our phones or however we connected, like Skype, I think it was something like that.
It was Skype, and it was like through antiquated equipment. I had like some old Tascam mixer that I like Frankensteined some kind of powered thing into to get audio into it, and it worked. I mean, we did test runs and we listened back to it, but it was far less sophisticated than we are now, Steve.
Yeah, but the content was good, and I was happy. I'm like, okay, we kind of knew sort of what we wanted to do right from the beginning, and so I'm going to have to go back really again anyway and listen to all of them so I can write a summary for everything for being on
We may
Pantheon.
have to bring back like a best of.
Absolutely, because that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I want to take little clips from each one that I like and put some stuff together. Some promos maybe together
Yeah, just
with a
some
little
nuggets.
radio sound like whoosh.
Yeah.
The Car Band Central Podcast, brought to you by Bandzoogle. Bandzoogle.com. Go get yourself a website. You need a website. Go to bandzoogle.com. Sign up for your free 30-day trial
Free.
using the coupon code CoverBandCentral.
Yeah.
30 days. Bandzoogle is the way to go. So anyway, I was going to put that plug in, and I just figured that was a good spot. But I like it. So I encourage anybody who digs this stuff and music talk. And I mean, Tony, almost 200 episodes, dude. So we've talked about a lot of different topics. There's been an evolution of certain things, and evolution in what I've been doing, obviously, and and stuff with you too. I think you were still with
So if you have
Weisenheimer's back then when
Yeah.
we started.
So if you have vacation time, you might want to take it and get caught up on what's going on before we get to episode 200, because that's a lot of hours to try to pick up, especially if you don't have time off,
Yeah.
At least you could binge watch it or binge listen to it. It's only 196 hours. It's not like, a crazy amount of time.
Nah.
Right?
It's not crazy. We got a spammer in the group, so I apologize for that. I just blocked that person.
Get it out, Stevie. Out and Z.
Helena said, "Good to hear from you. Good to see you." She was talking to this guy. Maybe she's a spammer too. I don't even know.
Maybe she
Anyway, so go check out, the link is in the description. Go check out our previous podcasts, and we have covered a lot of different topics, and it's fun. It's fun to listen back to. It's like a journal of my life in a way, of my career.
Yeah.
An audio journal.
Well, you and I both. I mean, when we started it, we had no agenda. We just talked
Yeah.
about whatever came to mind. So I was very excited, listening back to those initial episodes at how comfortable it appeared to be,
Yeah.
But then again, there was no video, so you're just sitting back talking. Now we're live for everyone to see, Steve. So we have to like dress nicer. We have to look good. I mean, we always look good.
Yeah,
Now
I gotta work on the dressing nicer. This T-shirt does not work for this broadcast because it gets too bunched up there when I put my arms that way.
Well, it blends in too. I figured I'd wear a shirt that matched my hair today, just to
You
give it
did.
some contrast. So
You did.
So it's all good.
Right on. I like it. So anybody else too, if you're coming in right now, you're joining us live, come on in and say hello. Tell us where you're from. If you want to chime in on the topic, you could read it in the description. We'll get to that soon. It's a good topic today, and I will tell you, Tony, how I came up with this, and then we'll take a look at some responses that were given on the Facebook page after we give our own things. But
Because
first,
maybe the listeners don't know, Steve, is that I don't know what the topic is until right before the episode.
right before the episode, right? I pick it, and then I send it to you, and then
Correct. So I have no time to prepare for what we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
Which is how we like it.
That's how we like it. Like you were just saying, it's always been very comfortable, you and I talking, and we don't really come up with an agenda. It was only when we kind of started the video thing where we said, okay, we should pick a topic.
Mm-hmm.
And but we have no script. We have not discussed this ahead of time, Tony and I. So we're gonna come up with what we come up with during this hour. So thank you guys for hanging out and listening and watching.
Steve,
and all
that is when the creative element is at its peak, right? When you are
I
on the
agree.
spot and you have to perform with no preparation and simply draw on the present moment for inspiration, be engaged, put your best foot forward.
Right. So Jay said, so what's the topic? Jay, that was called a tease, but you can read about it in the description. You can see what the topic is if you really want to know. Now,
Or you can wait 5 minutes and we'll tell you what it is.
Yes. Lincoln's in Florida. Lincoln Johnson, he says greeting.
Greeting.
He was just giving one of us a greeting. Maybe it was probably you, not me. Just a greeting, not greetings.
Greeting.
There you go. Live long and prosper.
Salutations.
So we always start this with our recap of ourselves, our lives, our band things, our music related happenings over the past week. So we could start with you because mine's going to be a little lengthy again.
That's good because mine's real short. I had no
Good.
gigs this past week.
Okay.
So I was off. So I played music at home, and I hung out, and I played drums by myself, and I had a great time. And
Very
I
nice.
practiced a little bit, and that was it.
Okay.
So I have no great news to report, other than that, my friend.
Okay. All right. So we'll get to my weekend after we say hello to Dawn, who's in West Virginia. Hello, Dawn.
Hello, Dawn from West Virginia.
And Harold in upstate New York
Yeah.
is here as well. Yeah. So when we last left last week, there was an
Yes.
issue with one of the iPlay. For those of you, I always have to say this, I guess. But I play on Bourbon Street on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I played 2 different bands, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. It's a very long day each day. And during the day, band called Cornerstone. We have 2 frontmen. And then last week, one of the frontmen was imbibing a bit too much and could not complete the gig twice out of the 3 days. This week he was back, and the same thing occurred. Even worse.
Same individual.
Same individual, same thing occurred. Especially Saturday, it was early that it occurred. Actually, I don't think it occurred on Friday, but a Saturday, and then we were left to finish the gig without him, which we were able to do.
Can I
It's
interject a quick comment here?
sure, of
I
course.
don't want to interrupt your story, but I just have a thought.
Okay.
It's an honor, right? And a blessing to be able to play music. So at what point, and this would be a topic for another event, right? At what point do cover band musicians feel like they can take the liberties to do whatever they want? When it's a job, you're at work, you're being paid to do a service. But not only that, you've been blessed with a talent that allows you to perform music. And there's obviously some kind of, other issue there, right? If this is a continuing event, it's not like, hey, Steve, I came and sat in with your band and I got caught up in the moment, had too much to drink, and I couldn't finish the gig, but it's never going to happen again. I'm sorry. This seems to be like a recurring theme to where, A, I hope this individual can get help, right? But B, even more so, like just as musicians ourselves, we pride ourselves on playing music. So I just, to me, it's hard to relate to the fact that you'd want to get, that out of sorts that you couldn't finish a gig. And even if you weren't so out of sorts that you could finish the gig, you definitely wouldn't be performing at your, the top level that you could.
Yeah, like I said, there's definitely an issue there, but I would say several issues. And one would be, how does it get to that? One would be complacency, just because we play so much, and that's one. Another would be really kind of a leadership issue, where certain things have been permitted, and if you don't permit certain things, then they won't happen.
Tolerance is acceptance, correct.
Yeah. And then the third, I think, obvious one is that the person has personal issues that go beyond what we're doing. So, there's nothing we could do about it. But I was informed that he is in fact getting help now after that. So
good for him.
And is supposed to be coming back this coming week. So we'll see how that goes. And then the other singer was imbibing as well, and then specifically on Sunday went way too far on stage, and it was a very slow day Sunday. We didn't have a lot of people. We were connecting with the people that were in the room, but not a lot of people. Very slow, and we started kind of goofing around a little bit towards the end of the day. For the last half hour maybe on stage, just playing some stuff that we felt like playing. You know,
Okay.
not trying to get people in the room, not trying to do anything other than entertain ourselves. So we played "The Trooper" by Iron Maiden, and we played "Bark at the
Yeah.
Moon" by Ozzy, and and you know, we only had that one singer on Sunday because of the other thing that happened,
Hmm.
and yeah, he was drinking a lot and just lost control on stage to on the precipice of violence, but was definitely doing violent things, and just out of hand,
Hmm.
and broke a 58. Let's put it that way, and that's not easy to do. Broke a 50, a short 58,
Yeah, yeah.
SM58 microphone.
And
So
is there security at the club where if somee's getting out of hand, they can go over and reprimand them?
yeah, there's doormen and stuff. They would typically do that for a patron if a patron gets out of hand, for sure. A band member, you know, if the band member started throwing fists, then yeah, then security would step in. But that didn't happen.
So he's
It felt
throws
like it
you.
was going to, though.
I don't mean to laugh, but it's like, who wants to work in that type of environment, right? And A, you got enough to manage, just being in the band on stage trying to deliver a good show, right?
Yeah,
And keep
yeah,
the show together, let alone all these other outside dramatic events that can affect that outcome that you have no
right.
control over, you know?
Yeah, and I understand why it happens, but like you said before in the beginning, like you have this incredible opportunity to be in a band, and you should be grateful for that, and you know, do things based on that rather than bringing in whatever issues you have
Yeah, and this can segue into
to
our
bring it
topic today,
down.
too,
Yeah, I
you know?
suppose. Yeah, we're there soon. So some changes afoot with this band, with the day band, and you know, I'll just keep you posted on it. I'm not sure what's going to happen going
Hey,
forward.
this is real life, though. This is Cover Band Central. This is the life of a cover band musician, right? This is what you do for a living, and these
It
are the things
is.
that you come up against, you know?
I'm living it, man.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And especially in that environment where there's so many musicians and so many bands, right? And a lot of people get substitutes, and there seems to be a pool of talent that you can draw from. Even more the reason why you think someone would want to be on their A game, so they're not getting replaced by the next guy who's better
The,
than them, who's on the bench right now, and there's an opportunity, and he comes in, and that guy never gets his job back again.
right. I mean, I told you about that last week too. There's just not a lot. There's not a guy on the bench. There's aren't people that are really banging down the doors to get work. It's the other way around. It's like, oh man, we got to find somebody. Who are
Well,
we
that
gonna get?
well, that's why it parlays into the tolerance, right? Because it's like, yeah, if there was a bench of 10 people, after strike one, you would tell that guy, hey, this happens again, you're out of the band.
Yeah,
And it happens again, the guy's out of the band, and the guy comes in off the bench and he steps in.
yeah,
And if he can't fill the part, then the next guy could step in, right? You would have like options. But if you don't have anybody on the bench, then yeah, you might be a little more reluctant to tell that guy to go screw himself, right? And hit the road because you be down a man and don't have a replacement.
right. Yeah,
It could
it's
be a topic for another show, Steve.
yeah. I mean, it's something I'm dealing with though, and it's something that I've been dealing with for a long time now. Being on
Yeah,
Bourbon
real.
Street, how much apathy there is from anybody above a manager, like a daily manager of the club. You know, speakers break, you know, monitors break, and it takes months for them to get replaced or fixed.
Yeah.
And you know, things that are going on in a band, it just it's pervasive, yeah, on
But
Bourbon
you're
Street.
but you're
Just the
still be
drama.
you're still being paid for your time on
Yes.
stage.
Yeah, and like Mike just asked that question, is this a paying gig? And it absolutely is.
Oh yeah.
And for a lot of people on Bourbon Street, this is their job. That's it. That's all they do,
Right. So you
including
get let go from the band, it's like getting fired. Like
yeah,
from other employment, right?
yeah,
Like you don't have a job anymore.
yeah. But it's about getting the job done again because we're so play so often. It's like, all right, what do we got to do to just get the job done today? Who do we
Yeah.
got to use? What songs do we got to play? We got our priorities. We got to get the job done
Hmm.
with whoever we use. There's so many times I was thinking about that this weekend too. There's so many times when I wasn't a band leader and I wasn't had nothing to do with any decisions that were being made, where I would come into work to come play, and there would be somebody there that like I never met this person. Is now they're playing in the night, the gig. Okay, I'm sorry, who are you? And that happened so many times where that's how I met people here in New Orleans was I
Sure.
played with them on stage. There was a guy, this guy came in on, it was Saturday or Sunday, was just hanging out, came in the club, was watching us, and he's a drummer. And everybody in the band kind of knew him or knew him, and he was sitting and watching us, and then we had him come up and play. And this guy was the first drummer I ever played with on Bourbon Street. For my very first gig, this was the guy who was on drums.
Wow.
So it was cool to see him. It was cool to jam with him. We played a couple songs. Yeah, that's a good question, Margaret.
Nostalgia.
Margaret asks, are these band members a lot younger? And yes, they're younger than me, for sure. A lot.
But
Yeah,
they're
one
not
of
in
them.
their 20s, though.
They're not in their 20s, 40s.
That's what I mean. So it's not like, hey, I'm a 28-year-old and I'm going to drink my face off, because that's what 28-year-olds do,
Yeah.
you know?
Mike, come on down. He said, I'd love to play on Bourbon Street. I wouldn't take that for granted. But I'm telling you, New Orleans needs musicians more than anything else. They need good players.
Yeah.
And it's who people that don't live here are like, well, I'm not going to move to New Orleans. Like, what? People have families, people have jobs.
Sure.
Can't just pick up and move. But what's Bourbon Street? Okay, so this is where was this person from? I don't remember. But they asked. Bourbon Street is in New Orleans. It's in the French Quarter, and it's a very popular street around the world. It's very well known for music and for other things. It's a tourist attraction in New Orleans.
And there could be how many bands playing on the street at any given time, Steve? Like you walk down
20.
Bourbon Street on a Saturday night, I can go see 20 bands if I want.
15, maybe.
Okay.
Probably closer to 15.
Okay. But still, 15 bands, right, at any given time, and there's at least, 4 or 5 people in a band? Right? Average?
Generally, yeah, sure. Sometimes
Yeah.
more.
So that might be 75 musicians right there that are
Right.
gainfully employed every day on Bourbon Street.
Right. So it's the work is there, though, because a lot of those people have to take time off or quit or just in my case where we have to get replacements for other people.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always that change. But if you're a good player, you're reliable, you're a cool person, you can work and you can make some good money, really good money. So it's here for the taking. But anyway, yeah. That's and the night band status quo was really fun this weekend. It was night band is Rockbox. I play right across the street at night, and it's spring break here now, so we got a lot of the youngins in town, and they're very enthusiastic. And we had a really good weekend. We had a good packed room, very responsive crowd. I had a lot of fun. I'm getting a lot more comfortable with this band. It's been about 5 months now, and I'm still technically a sub. I'm a doing an extended sub spot in this band, and I'm a lot more comfortable now. Like generally, I'm set up kind of back in the back of the stage, parallel to the drummer, and there's space in front of me though to step up and go to the front of the stage. So I did that a lot more this weekend, more like my '80s rock thing that I used to have, and it was fun. It was fun pretending to be a rock star for a weekend.
There you go.
A crowd that's cheering, they're smiling, they're singing, they're dancing, they're having a great time, and it's reciprocal there.
Oh yeah, nothing
that
better than playing
experience.
to a packed house, and that collective energy certainly fuels the band to where you will elevate your performance subconsciously.
Yes.
Just from the energy in the room.
Yeah. So I had a good time. It was, exhausting again, but still a good time. This coming weekend, I'm only doing the day gigs. So that'll be that. We'll see.
Hey, you could be working 12 hours in a coal mine, right?
That's right.
So you're on stage enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
So,
It's certainly you have nothing to complain about.
Maybe get a blister on your little finger.
Maybe you got a blister on your thumb.
Maybe. Unless you're a drummer, then you might have a lot of blisters unless you have good technique.
Right. That's a shame. That's it. I don't know how to say this name, Niall or Niall.
Niall will say.
Niall, probably. Same in the UK. Thousands of pubs have closed in the past few years, and others don't have enough money for a band.
Yeah.
There's plenty of clubs in New Orleans. There's certainly plenty of money for a band. They underpay us, but there's opportunity for musicians. So, but talking about the fans thing, I put this question up yesterday, Tony, on the page because I was thinking about the growth of Cover Band Central, how big it's getting, how big it's gotten over a relatively short amount of time, and people ask to join the group all the time, and they say I always ask why. It's in the questions when they ask to join the group.
And
Why
they
do you
say
want?
because they want to meet Tony.
Why do you want to join? Why do you want to join this
No,
group?
why else would they want to join?
I'll get the hell out of here with this guy. I'm sorry, the comment just came up. So I was thinking about, people in the group, when they ask to join, some of them will just say, I'm a music fan. I'm a fan of music. That's it. So there's a lot of people in the group that are not musicians, that are just fans of music. And I'm guessing that there's a ton on the page too, out of 650,000 people is where we're at now, that are just music fans.
Yeah.
So it got me thinking about myself as a fan, because I've been a bass player for 40 years, but I think of myself primarily as a music fan. I've always been a music fan, and I am a huge music fan, and I'm a fan of some cover bands too. And I was thinking, like, I wonder what are some common things that make people a fan of a cover band? Not just like, oh yeah, I saw this band at that club and they were really good. I mean the people that they come back and they see you. They tell other friends about you. They follow you on social media. They follow you. They stream you on Spotify if you have stuff there. They subscribe on YouTube. What are the things? Some common things that people think about. So we'll give our take. I'm gonna tell you what some things that I feel, and you can tell me, and then we'll see what the community said. A lot of answers there.
Yeah. A lot of good ones too, I'm sure.
I mean, there's a ton of things because I'm a musician that make me a fan, but I guess one major one for me that makes me a fan of another band is their song selection. That's one that sticks out the most for me. If they're playing a song that I love, and they're really doing it justice, yeah, that will make me a fan of a band.
But they got to be good.
That's what I'm saying. If they do that song justice,
Yeah.
They give it the right treatment, whether it's a note for note thing or they make it their own thing, whatever. As long as it's really good and entertaining, that will make me a fan. And obviously not just one song, many songs, but good song selection, just good. That's it for me. That's number one.
So Steve,
What do you got?
So we have Cover Band Central, and what is the tagline with Cover Band Central? What is the little moniker that goes after?
The one I've chosen and I'm still sticking with is it's the music that matters.
Exactly. So music matters to so many people on so many levels. And again, getting back to the fact that some people cannot play an instrument makes them even more eager to hear songs played well by people that can play instruments. And I
Right.
think that what makes people a fan
Well, no,
is
I
that,
want to know what makes you a fan.
oh, me myself?
Yeah, what would make you a fan of a cover band? Think about bands that you know and what makes you.
Same. I mean, I have such a wide variety of listening interests across many genres. So it'll have to be something that's interesting to me, that's executed well, or like you said, a song I like.
Well,
Or,
can you
or
think of some band off the top of your head that you're a fan of, like some cover band?
no, not off the top of my head, I can't.
Okay.
I can't. I really can't because there's so many, and there's so many non-cover bands, original bands, and just music in general, where I just find that it could be anything that attracts me to that band. Like, what would attract you to any band? You like the songs, the sound of the instruments is good, like it's mixed well, right? Like if you go see a live band and they sound really good and you can hear the vocals and everything sounds like it's mixed and everyone's, got their particular instrument sounding the best it can sound. That can also be something great because if you hear a song that you love and the sound is terrible or the drummers, has a bad time, it's not, you're not going to be a fan of that, right? So
Right.
I think for me, it's a song, like you said, it had to be song selection and execution
Execution, yeah.
for sure. And I would lean more heavily on the execution part of it, and not even, flashy chops or, just playing the song solid. Even if you put a little of your own flavor into it, but it has to sound good. Like the closer it sounds to the original, the better, right? If they're trying to do it, like if the vocalist is trying to mimic the original singer's kind of nuances, that's a plus for me, right?
Right.
The guy's just singing in his own way, not so much, unless he's doing a unique twist on it. Like if you, for example, see old footage of Sammy Hagar singing "Jump," he does not sing it like David Lee Roth sang it. He sings it his own way,
Right.
but it's cool because it's Sammy and he owns it that way. You know what I mean? So if you can own it, that's a plus too.
Okay. That's good. And I might steal this idea too. Like, and Robert said, the vibe is what gets me with a cover band. And he said, I saw Rockbox on Bourbon Street way back in 2003 and absolutely had the time of my life that night. So Rockbox, that's the band I'm in. Obviously, I wasn't in the band in 2003. That was a long time ago. But this band has been around that long on Bourbon
20 years
Street.
this year.
So, and that's the thing I would agree with, the vibe that the band is giving. Are they having fun? If they're having fun on stage, I'm going to have fun watching them. So, song,
That energy.
yeah, song selection. You're saying like musicianship and execution, and I would say the vibe that the band has. Are they cohesive? Do they look like a band? Are they having fun? Is there sort of a way I could describe them to another person easily? Like, yeah, they're a rock band. They all have long hair. They're great. The guitarist is great, and they play some great music.
Well, here's something I can give for some comparison, right? In past cover bands I've played in, had great success with many of them. They had decent followings, and checked all the boxes of everything we just said, right?
Right.
Looked cohesive, tight, great song selection band, but just never had, like, this new band I'm in has 10 times the following that other band had. Maybe a notch or two less in talent than the other band had, but the thing is, the vibe, the energy, everyone's smiling, laughing, having fun on stage, the energy. And we just did a thing where one of the guys in the band, the leader, went on social media and collected all kinds of quotes that people posted on our Facebook page and made a flyer. Here's what people are saying about the OC5 on social media.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and the current theme is band is tight, great energy, unbelievable song selection, play songs that nobody else plays, which is big. And that connects to the audience where people will be like, man, you brought me back to like the best years of my life. Like I had to drive my driver's license and that whole era, like from 17 to 27, you guys are playing all the songs from my childhood that I love. And that's the reason I come and see you guys,
There you
Someone
go.
else will say, we just come because I know if I call my friends and they're up for going out and it's to go see you guys, they're going to go. And the venues that you play are great venues too, where we can have a lot of fun. So,
Right.
people like to get that, like, hey, I'm coming out to see the band. And dude, there's other people.
So
that
yeah,
come
I
in.
mean, you're saying a lot of different things all at once here, but
Yeah, but it's
but
all different. It's all different avenues. I'm saying there's
Yeah.
it's so diverse on what
that goes to the
attracts-
song. Yeah, I mean that goes to the song selection, but saying about the venue, that's really actually a good point too. Why would they come see a cover band? Because I like the place that they're playing. I like going there. That's a cool place. But Niall agreed with you. Bands that songs that other bands don't play. Crowds do like that. Marianne said good musicianship, great harmonies, band having fun. Putting the twist. But all right, so let's see what everybody else said. Let's see what their. I don't know why I didn't prepare. I did such a poor job today, Tony, of preparing for the show.
That's okay. I can talk, Steve, if you need some filler time.
No, I just didn't
Continue to
set
ramble
this
on
up.
about my musings about cover bands and what I like and don't like about them. Oh, here we are. Okay.
Here we go. So what are some things? So I have not read these yet. Can you see this okay? Is it big enough on the screen?
Yeah, it looks to be. Why are some things that make you a fan of cover bands?
What are some things? Yes.
Yes.
What are some things is the question I posed 21 hours ago. What are some things that make you a fan of cover bands? So let's look at the answers. Rob just said music, which is a very generic answer. Leslie said a band with musicianship and talent that is conscious of details of the original song, not just playing it enough to make it sound similar. She said energy, interaction with the audience.
Yes.
And that's a good one too. And that's something that we always employ. And she said performance, graciousness, and appreciation of the support. Excellent answer. She got a lot of reactions from that. Some likes, some loves. So that's a good one, Leslie.
Sound knowledge right there.
Dan says, I love to hear live music. It's great to be able to see a local band at a local bar. No need for expensive tickets, out-of-town travel, or advanced planning. Just go to a bar, have some drinks, some food, enjoy some good music. So he's not saying... Yeah. So, but he's saying he just, he's not a fan of a particular band in this situation. He just loves music in general, so he's going to go see whoever's playing.
Right.
So I'm trying to think of it more of like, what makes you a fan of
a particular band?
Yeah, but what makes you really follow them? Tisha said, my son, I love to hear him sing. So family is going to come into it to, that's always going to be an answer or a friend. Why do you like this band? Well, because, it's my brother or it's my buddy from college or whatever,
There's also the camaraderie of fans where, hey, are you going to see such and such a band? Yeah, I am. And you notice that you see the same 10, 15 people sometimes at a lot of your gigs because they all commiserate and get together. Oh, yeah, I'm going on Sunday afternoon. I'll definitely be there, And then they get a big table, and these may be people that didn't even know each other a year ago, but they've seen the band together, a dozen times, and they've danced, and they've had a great time, and they've exchanged numbers, and they become friends.
Right. So this is part of it too. Colin said, well, the bands I love is what he meant to say, are either dead or retired from touring, so cover bands are the best way to hear those songs live. And that's a thing I was thinking about too, about music. And I think about this once in a while. It's like, well, I could go home and listen to Aerosmith on the radio, on my computer, on in my headphones. I could find them on YouTube, find Aerosmith doing a live version of any song. Why do I need to go see another band playing an Aerosmith song? Like, what's my motivation there? And those are the answers I was looking for. Like, what's the motivation for me to go there? And it's the energy of the band. Are they entertaining? Are they putting a twist on the song? And do I like going to that place? Do I like hanging at that venue? Do I want to see other people that are going to go? Hey, I'm going. You going to come?
Listen, you put 10 people in a room with a radio, and you play all your favorite songs. It's a way different vibe than going to a club with those same 10 people and seeing a live band, right?
Yeah.
The atmosphere, the energy, the vibe, like all the things that people are mentioning. It's a big reason why people want to go out to see a band, because I could sit home and listen to that Aerosmith, right? But I can go see a cover band do it well. It's the next best thing to seeing them live.
And even in some cases, a cover band doing it poorly, people are still like,
Yeah, if they've drank enough, for sure.
Yeah. So that's an interesting... Gloria shouted here, it brings back beautiful memories. Focuses on the need for music to be included in our school system, which I completely agree with. Power to heal the young as well. And she goes on.
Yep.
Okay, this is cool. Laura said, I'd been going to a bar with a friend, but none of the bands impressed me. Then one night was a band who played songs I knew and could understand. They came back 3 months later, and I became friends with them. There were second band members, were fantastic musicians, and now travel to see them. But it's worth it for music and friendship. So yeah, that's it. You become friends with the band. And there's a lot of people for me, in my experience, and I'm sure yours too,
Yeah.
we're playing on Bourbon Street. There are people that come in all the time that we're friends with, that we know, that buy us shots, that come on a regular or a semi-regular basis.
Yeah.
There's a lot for Rockbox. There's a lot of those kind of people. That's like, you're going to see this person eventually. There's a lot of those people every weekend. There's somebody that's coming in that we know.
Yeah, and we get that a lot different venues we play. Like venue A, we know we're going to see these 10 people every time. Venue B, we know we're going to see these 10 different people, plus maybe 3 or 4 of the other people, So
Right.
depending on where you are, geographically may also, influence. Like you're on Bourbon Street, right? So you're just walking from one club to the next or across the street. But when
Right.
we're playing, a gig that's an hour away from, each other, you tend to have a different crowd geographically. There's some people that
Sure,
will still
of course.
travel. Those diehard people that come to every gig. I mean, I can name half a dozen of them easily that I see every time, every gig.
Like Laura just said, she'll travel too.
Yeah,
So
and they bring people too.
um,
Oh, I had to bring people to come see your band because they couldn't believe how good you were. Word of
Yeah.
mouth too.
right. Well, Bill likes when a cover band doesn't recreate songs note for note. He wants to hear some of the musicians in the song.
Okay.
So he wants to hear their character, their personality in the music, which
Hmm.
kind of happens by default.
Yeah, unless you're in a tribute band, then you are trying to emulate 100%, right? But a cover band, I think you have some latitude there.
Right. Rick likes a variety of music. Eric, solid musicality and specifically great harmonies is what he said, and I like that answer, and a lot of people did too here like that answer. That vocals, I've said it before many times, and vocals make such a difference.
It's the great from the good.
Yeah, well said. They make such a difference when you have people singing, when you have everybody in the band on stage can sing, and they're doing good, nice harmonies, thick, solid harmonies.
Yeah.
That's something that's impressive, and because music for patrons, for fans, is mostly anyway, about the vocals, about the words, about the lyrics, about singing along. People don't generally. I mean, people
What are you
will
talking about?
mime.
People pay attention to the drummer and
They
want to know
do.
what he's doing. They don't care about anything else that's going on in the band. Come on, where
Right.
you been?
We do "In the Air Tonight" by Phil
Yeah.
Collins, and it's so fun watching everybody air drum when the drums come in.
Right. No one's playing air guitar, are they?
No, they air. It's so fun watching because everybody does it. That part that's such an iconic drum fill.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good harmony set you apart, said Mike. It does. It really does make a difference that much.
Night and day, man.
So good answer there, Eric.
What else you got, Steve? What other gems do we
I'm
have?
reading through, trying to find something good. And Carly just said, "I really can't think of any, even though I'm in one." And
What's your favorite cover band? The one I'm playing in. Why? Because I'm playing in it.
right. And Bill's answer is part of my reason. A small part of my reason anyway for starting Cover Band Central. He said cover bands keep the classic music alive. If nobody ever plays a song, then it will die and be forgotten. Not necessarily die and be forgotten, but people still want to hear them live.
And they want to hear it live. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. David said just for the fun of it. A lot of people talking about interpreting songs. What's their interpretation of that song?
Sure.
Which is a good reason. That's a good enough reason. Dave just said bands has learned the songs correctly, so he doesn't want an interpretation. He wants to hear it right, which is good, too.
Yeah, no half-assing it.
Yeah, because that is impressive. That is a reason to go see a band. Like, you got to hear these guys, man. They nail that song.
100%. Like we talked last week about me and my band doing Subdivisions. That's a band,
Right.
a song by Rush that you have to learn exactly because you're going to be scrutinized playing it.
Right.
People want to hear it as if they were going to see Rush.
Right. And you can't see Rush anymore. So, like Sean said here, getting
Right.
to hear songs live that you can't hear the original band play anymore, like somebody else said.
Yep.
And that's a big thing for me. Cover Band Central is like the icons that we have, that we've all grown up with, that we love, the music that we love. It's, all those people are going to be gone eventually, but that music will live on, and people still want to hear it live. So you
Yeah.
need cover bands to go play it live.
And one of the most gratifying things, I think, Steve, is when you start a song, right? Like you break in, right? You count it off and you hit the first note and you're just into the song, and someone comes out of the crowd right up to the stage, like fists in the air, yelling, like, yeah! Like you just made their day. Like they couldn't have been more excited to hear that song. And they certainly come up on the break as soon as you're done playing to tell you how much they enjoyed it or how they can't believe you played it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
just getting that reaction out of even one person where they come up and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you played that song. It's my favorite song. All my friends are here. They love that song. It instantly, like, it elevates you because you're feeling the joy of playing it, but you know that you just made that person's entire experience, for today or that night, at that gig.
Yeah. And I mean, like Jacob, I don't know what he's trying to say when he said this, but he's talking about you playing Subdivisions. He said, I'm sure you guys played it exactly like Rush. I don't know if he's trying to be a wise ass or
No, I think
whatever.
I think what he's saying is, we didn't take liberties with it. The guitar player didn't do his own solo. I didn't just do a different fill here because I felt like doing my own thing. So
Right.
it exactly like Rush. Yes, we tried our best to do that. Maybe we were,
Right.
We're not Geddy, Alex, and Neil by no
Right.
means, right?
Yeah,
But
you can't ever 100% replicate a recording because it's a different animal and you're different people.
100%. But it's our
Um,
duty to try and recreate it to the best that we can.
Right. All right, so let's get back. Let's see what else we got here. Check out a few more. Christy said playing songs that no other bands play. So, that's a big thing too. And, I know it was said before already here, but for me as a musician, I don't want to go see cover band playing Hard to Handle or Walk This Way or any songs that I play.
Right.
And that's just me, my preference, because I play those songs all the time. So occasionally it's kind of cool to see a song that I play and hear another band do it and hear some different things in there. That like, oh, that's interesting that they did that, or oh, they missed that part or whatever. But more than that, I'd rather hear a song that's like, oh, I love this song and nobody
Yeah.
else plays it. That's me as a fan.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what I
that's what
want.
it is too. Like the song selection, right? Like you said, my band, we don't play any mainstream songs that you probably play. We play all the B sides or the more obscure, hits off of that. But so many people come up and say anything like, "I can't believe you played Abacab by Genesis." Like that was like brings me back to my high school senior dance, like or whatever. It's like, it instantly strikes a chord. Like, how certain smells will take you back to a certain place in time.
Sure,
And you can,
sure.
same thing with music, right? You hear a song and you're like, oh man, I identify with this period in my life because I was listening to that band at that time, or
Right.
that album.
Yeah. And like David said here, music is a transfer of energy and emotion. I love talent, respect for the music, and move me. So yeah, music is about feeling, it's and playing in bands. So if you make somebody feel good as a musician, as a fan, that might be a reason that you would just give. Like, I don't know, I love these guys. It feels good to go watch them. I feel good. I have a good time. They're doing something. They might not even know technically what you're doing. They just might know, like, there's something about the energy in the room when they play.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's individuals, right? That's your personality coming through. Just like someone brings their own energy, right, into a room. Oh, I love that guy or I love that gal because that's just great energy. Or, walk in a room and the smile brightens up the whole room. They have that vibe to them. Or,
Right.
yeah, I really don't like hanging out with that person because they're really, they got kind of a negative aura about them, So people want that energy.
Yes. They do
What-
want it.
One thing too, Steve, that no one's mentioned is that I've gotten comments in the past where someone that says, like, I just saw you guys like 2 weeks ago and we were going out tonight and I just seen you, 2 weeks before that. However, we came out again tonight because very seldom do you guys play the same songs back to back gigs, you know? So it's not
Right.
like we play the same, you know, 40 set songs in rotation, you know? We have like 70 songs. So we'll constantly mix it up. You know, if we're back at a place, you know, next month that we just played at, we'll mix up the set list and play a completely different, you know, sprinkle in some of the mainstays that we do, but sprinkle in a whole bunch of other songs where people are like, oh man, I can't, I never heard you play that before, you know, or they know they're not going to come and just see the same set they just saw last week. You know,
Right.
it'd be completely different. It'd be a different opener, it'd be a different second set, it'll be a different third set, you know, different mixture of songs, different ebbs and flows. So that's important too. You know, you don't want it to play the same thing every time, you know, like clockwork. Like some bands have a show, right? So they play the same first set, second set, third set all the time, everywhere,
Yeah.
no matter where they go.
Yeah, and it depends on your audience. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the choice you got to make. For us, we kind of do the same show every night, but to a different crowd every night.
Yeah,
So
that's just it. You have a rotating crowd of people that, you know, embrace that, right? Because like
Right.
you said, it's from 50 people in the room every half hour.
Tom said, "I'm familiar with the songs, so that's a reason for him to go see a cover band. Is that he's familiar with the material, so maybe he doesn't mind hearing Jesse's Girl or Don't Stop Believing.
He's comfortable. He likes the repertoire, and he,
Yeah,
you know,
and that's fine too."
that's his vibe. That's what he likes about bands.
Paul said the extremely high price of seeing the original band, which is true.
Yeah.
Too,
So,
if the original band is still out there, it costs a lot for a concert ticket.
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the common answer here is the songs that are not, you know, that are more obscure, that are but are still good, that they people know. That's so, and I'm gonna guess that most of these answers are coming from musicians, because it looks like, just looking at the avatars, it looks like people are, you know, have a guitar or playing drums or whatever.
Sure.
Chris said it could sing along and dance to the songs, and that's a good one too. To be a fan of a, I think probably more for females than dudes,
Yep.
but
Good time.
girls
Wanna have a
might
good
go,
time.
yeah, the girls might want to go see a band because man, they play songs we can dance to. Girls want to go out dancing.
Yep.
That's not something the guys generally say. Hey, you want to go out dancing? Girls do that. You know, I'm sure there are some guys that do that, but mostly girls do that. So they're going to go see a band that makes them dance. That plays songs that make them dance.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Great vocals again is another answer. Roxy said, "I don't care for cover bands," so she's on the wrong page. But she's a top fan, so go figure.
Okay.
Doesn't make any sense to me. Let's see what else we got. Foxes and Fossils. I know Foxes. Bob said about that band, Foxes and Fossils, and I'm very familiar with them. And somebody suggested that yesterday too, because I did put this question in the group as well.
Mm.
And I'm familiar with them. They have a lot of videos on YouTube, and they're very good. And I found them by accident, really. I was actually searching for a song. I was listening, as I do. I work on the computer, and I put my headphones on, and I just let my playlist shuffle. And I have like 5,000 songs in there. So, and I just let it shuffle and listen to it. And I'm trying to think of what the song was. Oh, Dance With Me. Dance with me, I want to be a partner, can't you see? Who's the artist of that? I'm not sure who it is. But I was like, man, this is such a great song. And I'm listening in my headphones, the harmonies are lush and they're beautiful. And I'm like, I wonder if anybody has covered this. So I went onto YouTube and I Dance With Me cover, and that band came up, Foxes and Fossils, and they did it was probably quarantine time, and they did a recording in their house with the vocals standing around a mic, and
Nice.
fantastic. And with the musicians, everybody playing, just blew me away. I was like, wow. I mean, it's such a great song, but they really did a great job with that. That's something I do from time to time, Tony. I'll if I hear a song that I love, like, oh, I got to go find a cover of it.
Search it out, yeah.
So that's my passion for it too, is finding other people that do this and their own take on it and their own personality in it in songs. So that's one
But
of my-
again, you said it was like rich and lush and sounded great.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah,
Like
beautiful.
if it was flat and crappy, you might be less inclined, to be looking them up again.
Yeah, true. And then so as a result, then I'm checking out their channel. I'm checking out more of their videos.
Right.
I really like them a lot. All right,
Chances
so-
are it's not a fluke, Steve, right? If they did one good, they probably
Yes.
have many other songs in the repertoire. And do
Yeah.
well.
All right, we have time to read a few more here.
Couple you more.
Guys said they play smaller venues, that's a good reason too. Some people don't like to go out where there's big crowds.
Yeah.
Some people like to go to more intimate settings.
Mhm.
That's what they prefer. So that's a good reason that they play smaller places. So mix it up out there, guys. Play some intimate places. Making people get up and dance. And even if you don't dance, if you're a single guy, you're trying to go out and meet girls, you want to go to a place where there's a band that plays songs that girls like. So that could be a reason. They play songs that girls like, or girls like that band. That's why I go see them.
Yes.
There's a reason. That's why I used to go see Dog Voices, although I was kind of friends with those guys too, and I did have a lot of respect for them as musicians and
they were
song
good.
selection and everything. But one of the other reasons was girls went to see them, and I was single, so I'm gonna go
where the girls are.
where the girls are, man. Let's see what else. Find one more good one here, Tony.
There's got to be one more good one in there somewhere, Steve.
Right. How about that one? Just as simple as that. 2 words. Darren's. Do you see this here?
Yep.
It's live. That's his reason. Because it's live.
And that's what we said. There's no substitute for live music. Okay? No
Yes.
substitute. You could be in a club and they got the sports TVs on, they got music pumping through the through the house sound system, and places packed. Different vibe than places packed and you got a live band. That engagement, the energy of that live
Energy.
it's the energy. It's 100% the energy. I mean, you can change the energy in a room, right? I mean, you can certainly help to steer it, depending where it goes, but exponentially as the crowd becomes more engaged with the band and they become more, alive, and that energy feeds off of them and there's more positivity in the room, it just escalates into something where everyone's having a great time. It's like a nonstop party,
Yeah. And with all the moving parts, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's exciting. So
It is.
the fact that it's live, that's a big reason that I like to go see bands as well.
Yeah.
All right, hour's up. Thank you guys for listening
Wow.
and watching and all that. Coverbandcentral.com is where you can go for all things Cover Band Central. Sign up for a profile for you, your band, or both. It is free. Go check it out. Check us out on Pantheon, and there's a link in the description there to Megaphone, where you can hear all of our previous podcasts.
Megaphone.
195 previous ones.
Wow.
That's all on there. The link is in the description. Check out our YouTube channel. The link is in the description for that too. Subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we're going live. And you can check it. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, and you'll be here for every other episode coming up.
So get
That's
caught
it.
up.
Get
195
caught up.
hours. Get caught up for next week, and then there'll be a quiz.
It's an awful lot of talking that we've done. But thank you guys. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.
What's up?